everybody! Miranda Madison here. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Minnesota, and I am here for our Sunday night live stamping. So we'll see if we have anybody join us tonight. I have a few things that I worked on. I'm not sure if we'll make it through all of it. Hi, Kayla! But we'll at least make it through two cards. The third one is kind of a more complicated project. It's not so much for a simple stamper. It's not that it's difficult to put together or the process of it, but I've only made the one that I made this afternoon, and there are just a couple of things that take a little bit of time. So we might do parts of it, and I might show different techniques that go along with what I made. Oh, hi, buddy! He's so cute. So they were pretty fun, and I've just been brainstorming different gift wrap ideas for Christmas using paper crafting. So I think that the projects that I worked on today came out super cute. Let me think. I was looking at my calendar, and I will be taking the next 2 weeks, I believe. I should really double check while we're sitting here. Next week, with it being so close to Christmas, I am just anticipating that I am not going to be prepared to go live. So I will not be going live on the 23rd of December or the 30th of December. So the 30th we will be out of town. We'll be in Wisconsin for Christmas with my my in-laws. So I will not be here next Sunday or the following Sunday. So the last two in this year. And so I will be joining you back on the 6th of January for our Sunday Night Live stamping, and I'm going to have a few of the new goodies from the Occasions catalog. I have a fun brown box coming on Wednesday that has a new stamp set from the new catalog, as well as some designer series paper that I love. Really pretty bright colors. So I am going to do my best in these next couple of weeks to use up a lot of my retired product that is going on. So there are several things that I wanted to show you today. I also wanted to mention that I really tried to put last week's live on my YouTube channel, but because it cut me off, for some reason Facebook is not letting me download that that episode at all. So I don't know what it is in the glitch of when it cut me out, and I had to come back after. And so I might try to just put the part on that was the second half of our projects, because I kind of I at least show them after I got started. So I'll have to see what I can do to put that first half on YouTube. But I will be attempting, as long as nothing happens with this one today. I'm plugged into a different thing, so did not think about that. I did not think about getting my other charger either. So, but I have a full battery, so if I have to unplug just so it'll fit in my little mount, we'll do it. So, I wanted to show a couple of things that came in the mail. I was very, very excited about this, and this is a good thing to talk about too, because in January there is going to be a really special promotion for anyone who signs up to be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator starting on January 3rd, and I'm pretty sure that it's while supplies last. So these are going to be very, very popular. So for those who want to become a demonstrator starting January 3rd, you will be able to add this adorable tote bag. Now my lighting is going to be crazy, and you're not going to be able to see the beautiful tag. The pockets here, it kind of, if you know or have ever had a 31 bag, this reminds me of one of my 31 bags, except for the fact that it has compartments that come with it that are perfect for stamping related products, or any for that matter. The middle one fits our paper trimmer. It also holds cardstock in this part. It is deep enough that you can stack your cardstock up. It fits our catalogs really well in that middle section. And then these sections are perfect for stamp cases or ink pads. This is meant to not be like a long-term use storage. It has pockets on the front with a zipper compartment that I have seen people put our Stampin' Blends in, because our Stampin' Blends should be stored horizontal, so they fit right in, and then they're stored horizontal. So that is that pocket. It has a big zip-up pocket on the side, and it comes with this 30th anniversary little clip there that does come off if I wanted to turn it into like a key fob, and then it says Stampin' Up on that side. Hi, Mama. So I'm super excited about it. Demonstrators were able to order it, and it sold out really, really fast. So that was one thing that was really fun. I gifted that to myself for Christmas because it's beautiful, and I know I will use it. So the other thing I wanted to show, it's the hair, Eli. I heard it a lot in Scotts Bluff that I look like Nana, but that's a compliment. Don't worry. So the other thing I wanted to show you that I'm super excited about that is available for purchase right now, it is the Hair Mama, is this adorable bag for our Stamparatus. So this zips all the way around and it opens up like this. So it holds my clear plates, it holds my Stampin' Grid paper that fits in my Stamparatus, and it holds my Stamparatus itself. So it is so, so cute, and it has a long handle, so I can carry it with me, and it matches my other bag. So I can carry it when I'm going to do parties, or if I'm going to craft somewhere, like I'm going to take this to Wisconsin with me. But they are perfect in the, I know, I haven't heard that hardly ever, that I looked like Mama's side. So I think it's really special to get to have both. So these colors are really special to the 30th anniversary of Stampin' Up, which is this year in 2018. So I was super excited to snag those goodies, and I wanted to share them with you. So the Stamparatus bag is available right now on my website. It is called I'm going to check it just so that I get it right. It is called the Craft and Carry Stamparatus bag. And I'm pretty sure that you can, so you can either buy a tool pack, and that will come with the Stamparatus and the bag together, or you can just buy the bag by itself. But it fits all kinds of the things that go along with the Stamparatus, and it's super cute. So this bag will only be available if you are signing up to be a demonstrator when Occasions starts their promotion. And so I'll post more about that when we get a little bit closer. And I have ordered catalogs, so if you have ordered with me in the last 6 months, I am going to be doing my best to get those catalogs out to you as soon as they get here, because I'm worried that they won't get there before I need to go. So they will be mailed before the end of December. So they will get to you as soon as I can. But I'm going to flip you around, and we're going to get started crafting tonight. So I'm going to take you off this mount and put you on this one. And I'm going to see how possible this is with that cord. Let's see. Try. I think I may have flipped you all kinds of weird. Okay, I am pretty tight to the computer, so I'm going to scooch it over just a little bit. I did not think that through very well, and you can see the cord, so I am so sorry about that. So we are going to zoom, and then hopefully you won't see the cord. Okay, so I'm going to move my grid paper over. Perfect. I'm sorry for the shakiness. And we will get started on our first project tonight. And that one is going to be with, hi Rhonda. That project is going to be with a super cute stamp set that I didn't think I was going to get, but I think it is adorable. And it's the perfect stamp set to do coloring. And so with how often I have littles at my house, it's something that I can stamp onto paper, cardstock, and they can color in the images. This is a stamp set that I took with me to Nebraska to play with my nieces and nephews. So I wanted to make a fun, cute card with the Santa from this stamp set because I wanted to use the designer series paper and the framelits for this set, but they have already sold out. And so I don't want to use something that you can't order if you like something. So I am taking this as a challenge to create something with this stamp set that you don't need to have the other product for in order to use it. So I have picked out a couple of, I'm going to hide my end card just so that you don't see what we're doing there. So we're going to use the Signs of Santa. And then I have cut out our pieces all ready to go. We will also be using, I think this is falling snow, but I'm going to check it just in case. I'm also going to turn on my computer so that I can read comments when they come in. Because if I'm not standing the whole time, it's kind of hard to see. All right, there we go. So this one is called, that embossing folder, Softly Falling. So it's kind of like falling snow when we put it through our Big Shot. So that one will be really fun to layer up there. So our base color is Cherry Cobbler, and it is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. So that is, our card is going to be this way. And then in this Whisper White layer, that is cut at 5 1/4 by 4 inches. So this is the one that we are going to use with our plate here. And we're going to do the thick snow on top and then go down to the bottom as if the heavy stuff is falling down to the ground. Because the part at the bottom we're going to cover up with this cute designer series paper right here. And I think I've used some of that paper before in one of our other videos. But this one is from the Festive Farmhouse designer series paper, and I've used this quite a bit this season. It's one of my favorites from the holiday catalog. So this designer series paper will be retiring as when supplies run out. They will not be making any more of this, and as soon as it's out, it's out. So it's super cute. It has blacks and the Cherry Cobbler dark red with some browns and grays, and it goes with all kinds of things and is really popular this time of year. So I also cut out with our layering ovals framelits right here. I cut out these pieces. This is Whisper White cardstock and this is Cherry Cobbler. And then we are using a ribbon that this is the last of a roll just like this, but this is the double stitched ribbon in Cherry Cobbler, and it is double-sided, so we are going to use this ribbon. And I actually also already made my bow because I did not want you guys to have to watch me painfully retie my bow to get it how I wanted it. So I did that part off camera. It just takes a lot of practice, and I do not make that very many bows. So these are our pieces that we're going to use tonight. And the first part that we're going to do is actually our stamping. So I'm going to set all these other pieces aside, and I'm going to get out our Memento Tuxedo Black ink because we will be using our Stampin' Blends for this card today. I have my stamps that we're using already on my blocks, and they are of course going to stick together because I had them stacked. It will be fine. It does not hurt them. So we're going to use the little Santa on our block, and I'm going to flip my Memento Tuxedo Black upside down and push down and kind of twist, tapping, just to get the first little bit of ink on there. I think I'm almost to the point where I need to re-ink my stamp pad, but we're okay for right now. So I'm going to put our little Santa right here, and I'm just going to hold it down just a little bit, just to let that ink soak in to the Whisper White cardstock. And I am also using our piercing mat, our Stampin' Piercing mat, because we are using photopolymer stamps. It really helps to have that extra cushion underneath it to get a really crisp image. Another thing I was excited to share on here is just a technique of, I think it's called masking. I just use washi tape because it is really easy to peel up. But I want to use wishing you and then not use everything on your list. I want to say wishing you a joyful Christmas, because that's a sentiment that I would actually say. So we are going to put washi tape over the top of our, the bottom part of our phrase here, just so that wishing you is the only thing at the top. So we're going to put this washi tape, and this is old retired washi tape that I use for things like this. I don't think I have any of the current, so that's what it's going to look like after we ink it up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just peel it up like that, and then when we stamp that, it won't have anything on those other words. So we're going to stamp that at the top up here, wishing you, and then we will ink up our other block that says a joyful Christmas right underneath it, right here. There we go. It might be crooked, but that is okay with me. So that is what our sentiment is going to say. And then I will use my Stampin' Scrub to wash these as soon as we're done, because I have enough blocks that we don't need that for. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use our Stampin' Blends to color our cute little Santa. So I'm going to pull my chair up and color this way. So what we're going to use is we're going to use our light and dark Cherry Cobbler. We are going to use our, let's see, light and dark Petal Pink. And then we are going to use our light Smoky Slate. And then I'm going to use our Color Lifter just for backup. So I'm going to do my best to stay in the frame and not make things completely hard to watch. But when I was doing this earlier, I was interrupted several times. So I'm going to do my best to stay and go at a decent speed for this. So I am going to use our dark cherry cobbler first. I tend to use the dark colors first and then get lighter as I go. But it kind of depends. So I'm going to use the dark cherry cobbler, and what I usually do is I just do this for a little bit of shadowing, because then when I take my light color into it, that's where my blending comes into play. And so I usually will do a little bit of the dark color first, and I usually pick a corner and don't do the whole image. So that is all I'm going to do of the dark cherry cobbler. And then I'm going to bring in the light cherry cobbler. And with this one, I'm going to use the brush tip because it's my favorite side. And so now what I usually do is I'll just kind of do a swirling motion from the corner where my dark color is and pull out that color. So I'm going to pull out from that dark color just to pull and blend the dark into the light. And I will go out of the lines and it will be fine. Hi, Mary. Happy to have you. So I'm just pulling that dark color down into that white zone, just to kind of blend those colors together. And I need to not forget to do the sleeves, because when I did this the first time, I noticed after I had almost already finished it that I had forgotten to do the sleeves. So we're just making a couple of Christmas cards. One cute little Santa card, which will probably go to one of my nieces and nephews who actually believe in Santa at their house, because Santa's pretend at our house, but my kids are big enough that we've never really done the Santa thing. There were a couple of years when they really wanted to, and so we kind of humored them a little bit, if that's even how you say it. That seems really silly to say, but we pretended with them. So I'm going to take this dark petal pink color, and I'm kind of going to give him the apples of his cheeks, because it's just a little bit darker. But then we're going to take the light petal pink. So that's all I was going to do with that dark petal pink. And then this one, I'm literally just going to take the light petal pink, and I'm going to do his cute little ears and his hands and his face. And I'm just going to swirl around those cheeks. I don't really want to take away the color on those cheeks. So I do it pretty lightly over those apples of his cheeks. But the next part is something that I haven't always done, but when I did it on my card, I'm kind of indifferent with how I feel, so maybe you guys will have an opinion on it. But this is just used for shading on the white space, and so it kind of gives a little bit of shadows, like just in the corners, and so we don't add it to a lot of different places. It just comes in to give a little bit of shadowing. And I'm going to use our color lifter actually to blend it a little bit. Just like that. So it's not going to be very much, but I'm going to put a little bit on our list here in the corner. And then I think I did his belt in this color too, so maybe I'll do that really fast. Yep, I did. Okay, so these Stampin' Blends are wonderful because they don't leave really harsh lines. But this color lifter is, one, helpful for people like me who go a little bit out of the lines and keep looking at it. It won't take it away completely, but it will make it more faint. So all I'm doing is I'm just going to pull into the center with my color lifter just to kind of blend those harsh edges of the smoky slate that we just used. It doesn't take it away completely, but it just kind of softens the edge a little bit. I was pretty happy with how it came out the last time. So that is all we're going to do to our cute little Santa. And then we are going to take our, oh goodness, I don't even have my adhesive over here. Okay, it wasn't that far away. So now what we're going to do is we're going to assemble our little Santa to his base. So we're going to use our snail adhesive and just flip that over. Another thing about our Stampin' Blends is they will bleed through, but as long as you don't need to see both sides, it doesn't usually go down onto any other workspace that you're using. I tend to always have something underneath what I'm working on anyways, but so that is our cute little Santa. And now I'm going to bring my Big Shot over, and we're going to use our Softly Falling embossing folder to put some snow on our white cardstock here. So what I am getting is our Big Shot, and I'm going to move this piece out of the way. So we're going to use our Big Shot here, and it's going to be really zoomed in, so I'm really sorry if anybody is dizzy in this process. What we're going to do is we're going to put our cardstock with the snow, the thick snow on the top falling down. And now what I need is, I'm going to grab one more embossing clear plate. So this one takes 2 clear plates because this is a thin, this is not a textured impression, or this is not a dynamic embossing folder, it's just the basic one. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in between 2 clear plates, and then it goes with our original Big Shot platform. And I'm going to try really hard not to shake you all over the place. But this is my favorite part, and this is one of the first things that I loved when I got my Big Shot. So it just does that really, really fun embossing on my cardstock, and it can do a piece of paper that is, let's see, how big is this? This is a 6x6 embossing folder, so it does a really big size for your projects. We will be using the Big Shot again, so I'm just going to set it aside over here, and we are ready to put our card together. So we have our cherry cobbler base, and we are going to put our cute designer series paper down at the bottom part of our softly falling layer. I was worried that my sleeves were going to bother me while I was crafting, but so far they haven't been messing with me that much. So we're just going to leave like 1/4 of an inch at the bottom. And we did 2 bits of adhesive on the bottom. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use the cheater method, just using some normal Scotch tape to put the ribbon on this layer. And we're going to put it right here and flip it over and tape down the edges there. And then since this piece is embossed, I want to use adhesive on all 4 sides. And I'm actually going to go right over the top of my ribbon just so that that has extra coverage as well. I'm going to do all 4 sides and a little bit in the center. And that is going to go right on our base, leaving it just a little bit of a border. Just like that. And then we are going to use Stampin Dimensionals, which I knew I had some over here. Where did I put them? Let's see. I'll bring them over with this project. That's all right. I will just start a new one because for some reason they have disappeared. So I'm going to put some on the top and the bottom because we're going to kind of layer it around the ribbon, and that way it'll all be at the same spacing. Just like this. And so I'm going to do 6 on this one, just so that we go around the ribbon there. I'm going to peel up my backings. The next project that we're going to work on is actually a challenge that our home office has given demonstrators, and it is all about simple stamping for beginner stampers, just to show how little you have to do or know in order to be really creative. So I'm excited to show that with you. So we are just putting that around our ribbon there. And now I'm going to grab a glue dot to put on the back of our cute little bow. And our glue dots, this is an old box, but they come in packs of 300 and it lasts me a really, really long time. So long that I know I've already ordered another box of this, but I still have quite a bit of my old one left. So I just put a glue dot right, I'm going to forget where my camera is. So it's right on the back there. You see that little shiny spot? And it goes right on top of our ribbon there. And it'll hold it just like that. So this is our first card. This is the one, I'll show you how I did my gray before. I did a little bit more on that one. But this is our first card tonight. Super simple, a little bit of coloring, not super complicated, but a really, really cute Christmas card there. And the second one is our simple stamping. And the challenge is to just use ink and paper, and that is a simple stamping. But this one specifically, they have challenged us to use our note card size, and I don't have any of the white, the Whisper White or the Very Vanilla. So this one is actually in our annual catalog. That's another one of the challenge requirements, is that we're supposed to do a thank you card with products from the annual catalog. So I am actually using the Mint Macaron card, and I've already got it pulled out. And we are also going to use one of my favorite stamp sets from the annual catalog. It's the Petal palette stamp set. So I think I'm still live, but I'm going to be checking often because of what happened last time. So this is what the card comes looking like. It is a note card size, and so it comes, these are 7 by 5. So when you fold it over, you fold it at 3 and a half. So it's just a cute little note card size. These are the perfect size for little notes. But it already has that watercolor wash on it, so I thought this would be the perfect time to use some of these. The other way that it comes is with a Blackberry Bliss wash on it. So they're just a little bit different, but they are really, really cool to use with layers on top. They all come with envelopes. So this comes with 20. So it'll come with 20 note cards and 20 envelopes. And they are really inexpensive for notes. And I'm going to show you that I'm literally only going to use 1 stamp set and 1 ink pad with our note cards today. I just wanted to show those products to you really fast before we did some stamping. And I'm even going to stamp the envelope on that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open up, this is an old ink pad that I had before they redid our ink pads. I'm just getting as much use out of it as I can, and then when it dies, I will invest in the new ink pads. But what I have done is I've just taken the 4 stamps that we're going to use out of this one stamp set, and I have put them on my blocks just like this. So this stamp set is a 2-box stamp set, and it is beautiful. It has amazing sentiments, but the images are really, really pretty too. So we're going to use this stamp set today. And first, we're going to use the leaves. And I have this little piece of cardstock sitting here because I'm going to do a little bit of stamping off just to get a lighter shade of color on it. So I'm going to look at my card that I already finished just so that I can stay consistent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp off the leaves 1 time, and then I'm going to go once this way, and I'm just going to stamp it down once, so it's going to be really faint. Because I want to just use the one ink pad, I want to show how many looks you can get just with one color. So that is just for the background. And then I'm also going to use these cool dots the same way. So we're going to go lightly with our ink. This is the mint macaron ink, and I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp it down here at the bottom. And we're going to go up 2 times. So I'm going to ink it, stamp it off, and we're going to do it right like that. Okay, so that one is finished. We're done with those 2 stamps. And then we're going to go to these 2 stamps. We're going to be doing full strength, which means we're not going to stamp off on another piece of paper before we stamp them down. So we're going to put this little cute bird right here sitting in those leaves, and then we're going to put our thank you down at the bottom, just like this. So that is the first part of our simple stamping. And then with this one, I have actually done some leaves stamped off both on the back and on the inside of my card just for some fun interest. But those I have stamped off on my paper here. So we're going to do this leaf right here, just like that. And that's where I would typically put that I made this card. And then on the inside, we're going to do some kind of where I'm going to write over the top. So super, super simple. We're going to do one up here, and then we're going to do one at the bottom, just the same, just like that. And then I'm going to pull out my envelope right here, and I'm going to do one leaf after I stamp it off down here in that corner as well. So that is our simple stamping card and envelope today using mint macaron. So this cute little envelope fits our cute little card inside of it. So super, super cute. And then I will show you my other one that I made earlier. It's just the same. I didn't do anything different on it, but it just shows what that can look like with just one ink pad and one set of note cards. And if you had one stamp set that is like the Petal palette, you can do all these different sentiments for any of those note cards just using one ink and one stamp set with one set of note cards. So I think that's a super fun challenge that Stampin' Up! has for us demonstrators right now. And I'm excited to see what they challenge us with next with the simple stamping, because this one was with note cards and with a thank you sentiment. So this is our second card, And our third project, I'm going to show you a technique first. I'm going to move a couple of things out of the way so that I can move my Big Shot back into the frame, because this project is kind of like a gift packaging box. And I'm going to leave my piercing mat over here because we will be using it. Okay, for this one, I'm going to use one of my absolute favorite stamp sets from the holiday catalog, Falling for Leaves. This stamp set is available still while supplies last, but the framelits that go with it, I believe, have sold out already. So this is another one, kind of like the Santa one, that not all of the products are still available. So the bundle is already sold out for this one, but the stamp set itself is still available. So we will be using this stamp and then the Thinking of You with a Grateful Heart, because even though it's Christmas time, I think that is one of the best times of year to tell people that you're thankful for them, especially when you're gifting them with things. So I'm going to be using our clear acetate boxes. And this is the part, we'll do the stamping part at least, and we'll do the Big Shot work as well. But these clear acetate boxes, they open up just like this. They come in, let me see. I'm going to find out what they come in packaging wise. Let's see. Do they come? There we go, packaging. Okay, so these come in a pack of 10. So you get 10 boxes for $7. And they open up and they fit 5 cards and 5 envelopes of the Stampin' Up! Size envelopes. Those are A4 envelopes. So I wanted to show, I have a couple of different packages of these just because I've used them for gifts. But I love that you can see through them. And so what I am actually using mine for is I'm going to be putting some handmade cards in them for a gift. But I thought it would be really fun to make some packaging, kind of like a band around the outside of it. So we're going to be doing a couple of things with this one. I'm going to show you the stamping part first, and I used the same Layering Ovals framelits. This time I used the Whisper White cardstock, and this is Blackberry, or I think this is black. Yeah, this is Blackberry Bliss cardstock. So we'll be using Fresh Fig. So it's not identical to that color of the Blackberry Bliss, but it's really similar. So it has similar tones in it. We are also going to be using the Bright Copper Shimmer paint, and this is actually being discontinued. It's retiring. The other one that I have that I've used that is the Frost White. This is actually not retiring. So they're keeping 2 of the colors that are in the holiday catalog, and then they're retiring 2. So this one is actually one that's being retired. So I thought I would use that one more time before we're not able to get it anymore. The other thing that I am using is I'm using our Stampin' Sponges. We're going to use that for this one. And let's see. We're going to be using some crumb cake, and this is 4 by 12. Yeah, because it's a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock that I have cut at 4 by 12. We're going to be putting this through our Big Shot using the corrugated embossing folder. So that's going to look really cool. And then we're going to actually do some sponging with our copper and with our Blackberry Bliss. Or Fresh Fig. I'm sorry. We're going to use Fresh Fig because that's the color of ribbon that we're using. So we're using a sponge with that. And this clear block is actually from our Paper Pumpkin kit. And I use that to put my shimmer paint on. So we're also using this really pretty mini ruffled ribbon that is in Fresh Fig. So that will be a part of our packaging. And then the other thing that took a really long time, but I still want to show you how to get the effect, is this is our copper trim. And I think I've used it before, but you just kind of pull it apart. And I literally sat here and pulled until it fit around my acetate box. So, hi Ton! So this stuff is super, super fun. And I've used it for like netting for like nautical cards. When you pull it apart, it gives it a whole different look. So this is what it looks like when it comes on the roll. And I just kind of I'm just kind of pulling it apart to give it that netting look, just like that. And this is copper. So it comes in a roll that looks kind of, let me see, here we go. It comes in a roll that is approximately 5 yards, and it looks like this when it comes. And when I first got it, I saw a couple of people posting it as netting for like mermaid cards, which is really cool. But I don't have any of those mermaid stamp sets right now. And so I used it when I made some cards with some shells that we had in last year's catalog. But I just think it adds a lot of really fun texture to a project. So I will eventually do it to this whole strand, but I will show you what my finished project looked like with the rest of that after we do our stamping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set our ink aside really fast, and I'm going to get my Big Shot out with this crumb cake cardstock, and we're going to use our corrugated embossing folder. So we're going to just use our Big Shot platform, and because I'm using the corrugated embossing folder, this is a dynamic embossing folder, and so it's thicker. So if you remember, the other embossing folder I used tonight is the softly falling. So from the top, you can already tell how much thicker this embossing folder is from a normal. This was the first kind that they designed, and these are the newer ones. So that's the thickness, the difference in thickness. And so what we're going to do, because I want to use some sponging with our cardstock, we're going to put this through, and we're going to put it in this way because I kind of want the lines to go up and down, and we're going to wrap this around our box for packaging. So I'm just putting it to the edge right here, and we're going to put it in between a clear plate and our Big Shot. And I'm going to run that through my Big Shot. Now I will tell you that I broke 2 plates today. They're supposed to wear down, but I don't often break 2 in one day. So if this one happens to snap, don't be alarmed. They do that, and it's okay. So we're going to run that through one more time, and I'm going to try to match that up with the lines where we had the other one so that they match up. All right, I'm going to try to do it from this way. Okay. Because I want my lines to match, what I do is I'm looking at the back where I put the embossing folder before, and I'm just going to put it through my Big Shot with my clear plate this way as well. On the other box that I made, I will tell you that I had a couple of harsh lines, but they aren't a huge deal. I'm going to try to fold this one a little bit differently to see if I can get rid of those harsh lines, but since I've literally only made one other box before, I did not get very much time to wrinkle out some of those little issues that I had for the first one. So it'll have these kind of lines where they overlap a little bit. So we're just going to do the same thing with this one, and I'm going to line it up to match up with the other thing just to cover that last little bit there. And we're going to run that through our Big Shot one more time. I also thought that it might be fixed if I scored where I fold it at to see if I can take away some of that harsh line that way. But again, I haven't practiced it more than one time. So I'm going to move our Big Shot over here, and then I'll show you how I folded it. Okay, so because I had that space, that line is going to be there, but I think it'll be okay. So what we're going to do is I actually do the sponging after I've measured our box. So what I'm going to do is this one kind of gives me a place to use that line, that first line. So I'm just going to do my fold right there. And then I'm going to also do a fold right here. And I'm going to use some tear and tape on this part just to kind of hold down the next layer. This tear and tape is some really strong adhesive that is recommended for boxes. If you're working on a box, it literally is super, super simple. This craft tape. So I'm going to put this tear and tape right here across this space, tear it, and then when I'm ready for that to adhere, I will peel up that backing and be able to piece it together that way. So this part is going to be folded right here on our clear box. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel. I'm really sorry if I'm making you completely dizzy. I did not practice this part on a camera. So we're going to put our box right here, and I'm going to hold that down and adhere our corrugated. So it's going to have a little bit of overlap, just like this. And I'll show you in the box that I already put together that it wasn't bad, and I just used it on the back side. And then I had this little design going on the front of my design too, which is totally fine because the sponging really hides it in a lot of ways. So what I'm going to do for this part is I'm going to put a little bit more tear and tape just to hold that little flap down. I'm just going to tear it and put it on my box just like that. And I'm going to start peeling it up from this bottom part, and I'll show you what I'll do with the extra part at the bottom. Oh, I just bumped into you. I'm so sorry. This is exactly what I was telling you. It's going to take a little bit of time just because I am still working out kinks a little bit. So I just take that little extra part and fold it up into my box. So the cool part about these, this corrugated embossing folder is that it has such a really fun texture to it. So what I want to do now is I'm going to take our copper shimmer paint, and I'm going to put it using a paintbrush. I'm going to put a pretty thick amount, just dab it on here. Because I'm going to use it for the whole box. And so when I did it earlier today, I had to reapply. So this is just one of our Stampin' sponges that I've cut into a smaller wedge, and I just dab it in to that shimmer paint, and I'm going to just drag it over our corrugated. And our crumb cake will come through just a little bit, but the shimmer paint really does take a lot of the imperfections away from it. So we're just going to drag our shimmer paint all along our casing here. And this band is made to slide on and off. So I could have totally taken it off to do this part and not had the box on at all. But it just kind of holds it in place this way. So I didn't mind that at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the rest of this shimmer paint, and I will wash my paintbrush when we're done, I promise. And I'm just going to brush with the rest of it. Just the shimmer paint is so pretty that I actually bought the copper one first because I liked what it kind of looked like. So this, I put the copper shimmer paint on top of a clear block, and I literally will just take a tissue, and I'm looking for one in my trash can. So I take a tissue and just kind of wipe it off. But I can also take this clear block and just run it through soap and water in my sink, and it'll clean it up for me. So that is what we're going to do with the copper shimmer paint. And now what we're going to do is we're going to open up our fresh fig to do a little bit of color sponging. And this is another wedge just from our Stampin' sponges. And I'm just taking it just right over the top of our copper just to get a little bit of color in with the crumb cake. It doesn't do it as dark because we really want that copper to be what steals the show. But I love to see a lot of those, just how it takes the grains down. It breaks the fibers in the cardstock when you run it through the Big Shot, and when I fold it and play with it through my fingers. And so I love to see what ink can do to bring out some of those imperfections, where it kind of breaks down what it was supposed to look like. It's called distressing. I'm distressing my box with the ink. So this is just a really simple-ish, I don't know. It seems simple to me because I've just practiced it, I guess. I'm sure it could be really intimidating for somebody that's not into crafting. But when I learned how to sponge and things, it was literally like, oh, well, it seems kind of messy. I can do messy. So super easy, but it just gave it a little bit of color in with that shimmer. So that is all we're going to do with our sponge there. And now for our stamping, we are going to use our leaf first. So I have it flipped over so I can use my leaf here. And we are almost hitting our hour, so I'm really sorry if I'm going over. I hope everybody is enjoying it enough to not care that I'm going over my hour. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my leaf stamped in the fresh fig, and I'm going to get a piece of printer paper to put underneath it because I know that I'm going to stamp over the image itself. So we are stamping off with our fresh fig, and then we're going to stamp right here on our oval. Now again, I cut these ovals with our layering ovals framelits that I showed already tonight. And now I'm going to ink up our sentiment, thinking of you with a grateful heart. And we're actually going to go right over the top, except this time we're not going to be stamping off. We're going to just do this one full strength. So that is what it looks like with the fresh fig, just thinking of you with a grateful heart that has the leaf in the background. I'm really, really sad that that leaf is not staying in our catalog. So now I'm just taking some snail adhesive, and I am putting that on top of our Blackberry Bliss. Now I totally could use a fresh fig to layer that with, but since the colors are not that far off, it doesn't bother me too much. So this is the part where I'm going to show you the example that I have already finished, because I'm going to skip the part that took me a really long time. So you get to see, okay, these are the techniques that we worked on tonight, and this is what it's going to look like when it is finished. So this shows you what that copper trim looks like when it's all stretched out. And I, oops, so sorry, I hit my cord. So I stretched that copper trim that started off looking like that. I stretched the whole thing out until it could fit around that whole acetate box. And then I layered the fresh fig mini ruffled ribbon around it, and I actually taped it. I put the knot fold part, I put it underneath this image right here, and I actually held them down with just some normal Scotch tape. You could totally use the tear and tape to adhere that together down there. You can see that my copper, I used more copper on the second one, but I put in it one of the cards that I had made already. So this is a card that I made for a swap using another one of my really favorite embossing folders, and this is using the same colors, so I thought that would be a really fun one to put in there to kind of see through because it has the same color shading. So that is all we're going to do tonight for our projects. I'm going to bring in a couple more pieces here and show the cards that we worked on tonight. I hope you guys had fun and that you don't miss me too much these next couple of weeks. But these are the projects that we worked on tonight. We did some simple stamping using note cards, one ink pad, and one stamp set. So that one was really, really fun, just to show how simple. I think I did some of each. Like this was a really simple card, and this one is the next step up kind of card, and then this one is more avid for avid crafters. So I gave a little bit of everything today. So I hope you guys had fun, and I will see you in January of 2019. So if you stuck it out and watched with me this whole time, thank you for being patient and going the whole hour with me. For those of you that are watching the replay either on my YouTube channel or on Facebook, on my Facebook page, I hope that you enjoy this and are inspired to create. You can find any of these items right now in my online Stampin' Up! Store. The Christmas ones or the ones in the holiday catalog are only while supplies last. Some of them will be carrying over, but it kind of depends on which products. So I hope you have a great night and a Merry Christmas next week, and that you just remember who we celebrate at this time of year, and that's the birth of Jesus. So I'm really thankful for all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful Merry Christmas. I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.